SEN Podcast. We're back again.
Everyone, welcome back. On today's episode, we are talking about social and cultural impacts on mental health. So, Nova, how do social and cultural expectations impact mental health?
Well, it can impact mental health in a lot of ways, actually. Like, you have to think about it this way, like, how we were raised can impact a lot of things in our life. Your economic status, your social standing, how your future is going to be in life. And all those things can impact your mental health.
I couldn't agree more. Let's say, for example, there's many examples out there, but I like this example specifically. Say there's a CEO of a company, right? And you're going for an interview.
Yes.
And that CEO you coincidentally meet on, say, the bus or the train, and they look like a fairly old person. You know, they're a bit frail, so you offer them your seat, right? And
Yes.
like you wouldn't think too much of them. And then when you get to your interview, it turns out that that person that you gave your seat to is the CEO of the company you're applying for. So you shouldn't really judge in that case.
Yeah. Where's that video I seen from?
Oh yeah, there's many
Yeah, there's
relating
many
to
of them. Yes.
that.
Like, oh my gosh, like, well, Steven, I think it's time for the reveal. What cultural background do you come from?
Alrighty, so I come from an Asian cultural background, a really unknown ethnicity. It's called Hmong. However, we don't currently have a country due to the dynasty era where everyone, was fighting each other, and we were kind of left without a country after all the wars and whatever. However, our origin does come from China.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah, so we are the indigenous of China. However, we no longer own the country, but currently, the Chinese people have recognized Hmong as the indigenous of China. We do have our alphabets and stuff like in statues and in writing there in China, but we can't really decipher it. So currently we're using like English sort of. We're using English alphabets to pretty much convey in text at the moment. How about you, Nova?
Um, on my mother's side, I come from a Jewish background.
Mhm.
We're Ashkenazi Jews, so the European Jewish background. And on
Yep.
my dad's side, it's a bit of Western, but also a little bit of Middle Eastern raising background.
Mhm.
So I got a bit of both.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the
So
easiest way to explain.
yeah. So how do you think your cultural background
Cultural, yeah.
has
Cultural.
impacted you in regards to mental health?
Um, I was raised in a very strict religious family, not in a Judaism family, but in a Christian family.
Yeah.
Because my mom hasn't never been part of Judaism, but
Yeah.
my grandparents were. So she carried on a lot of that. And basically, academically, we had to succeed a lot because of just how we were raised. Religiously, we had to be strong figures in our church.
Yeah.
So I was training to be a priest, is the best way to explain it.
All right. Yeah.
Before I left my parents' religion when I was 18.
Yeah.
But before then, I was doing like early morning Bible study. So every weekday, I'll have to wake up at 5 a.m. and then we'll do early morning Bible study from 6 to 7, and then I'll go straight to high school back then. And I did
Oh,
that
right.
from 14 to 17. So
Damn.
4 years. Yeah, I did it for 4 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah. So if you're ever wondering why I'm up at like 6 a.m. in the morning every day, you now know why.
Yeah, I couldn't wake up that early in high school.
Yeah. Yeah, what about you, Steven? What was it like for you culturally?
Yeah, so obviously we do have the Asian stereotypes, of course, where all Asians must be academically, you know, inclined. We're meant to be doing well in our studies and whatnot. We're meant to have clear goals, we're meant to excel in both sports and academics. But in majority of cases, it's really not true. I think that stereotype comes from where Asians generally are pretty good at doing things in general. So I think that's where the stereotype kind of like comes from. So, for example, I wouldn't say I'm stupid, but I wouldn't say I'm smart either. As well as I wouldn't say I'm the best at sports, but I wouldn't say I'm the worst. So I think that's where it comes from.
Did you ever play a musical instrument? I know that's one of
No,
the
no,
stereotypes.
actually. It's funny because I actually wanted to play a musical instrument. I wanted to play the keyboard or piano when I was actually younger. However, my parents didn't really support us in that field. So I don't know, for some reason it's a bit odd. I think that's because my parents didn't come from a prestigious background, because they were refugees in Thailand before they came to Australia. So I think,
I see.
yeah, so I think that's why. So but they did prefer us to um take academics to the highest that we can. They did prioritize that, which is what majority of us did do. However, after studying for quite a while, it does quite some damage mentally as well. Um, I would say, yeah, for example, one of my brothers was actually studying to become a doctor, so quite stereotypical. However, he did drop out after, I think, 5 to 7 years. So he was almost done.
Oh,
He
almost
did,
done.
yeah, he was almost done, but he did drop out. Um, I think it was, yeah, the majority of us did drop out. I think the only person that graduated from uni is my sister, which was, I think she graduated just, I think, the start of this month only. So yeah,
Oh, that's good. That's good.
yeah, most of us are just dropouts.
That's not good, but that's good that your sister graduated.
Yeah. I mean, it's not good, but as long as we're doing things that that we can continue with life, I think that's fine.
Yeah, like we touched it a little bit, but like on like how it affects our lives, but it was like harsh almost, because like one of the stereotypes is like Christian children are like well behaved and well raised,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but I was a bit of a rebel in places. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like it's kind of like that. I don't know how to exactly explain it, but I'll give an example. Like, say for example, you're growing up in an Asian family, and your parents are getting you to study and to get good at a musical instrument, and you don't enjoy it because they're getting you to do it, right? So Christians are meant to be well raised and well behaved because they're forced to do it by their parents.
Yeah, that's true.
So then they'll most likely rebel because it's not what they want to do. You're being forced to do something you don't want to do.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like, I'm not gonna go into like details, but yeah, it was rough in places. Like I was punished a lot for behaviors. Yeah, but social and cultural impact. So, like, we're seeing it affect like other people's lives around us too. Like, we could name numerous examples of people we know who were raised a certain way and how that has impacted them. Like, you never know, like that person who does like drugs down the street, maybe their parents had something to do with it.
Yeah, yeah. What I realized as well growing up, because since we're from, we're from Nova and I are from like a kind of ghetto-ish area.
Yeah, we're in the ghetto. We're in the
Yeah,
ghetto.
we in the hood, yo. We out here in the hood. Yeah, so we kind of grew up with like kids coming to school. Some kids wouldn't even have lunch per se, or some kids would come to school with like, they wouldn't look energetic, like they wouldn't look well groomed and ready to actually study and socialize. So whatever's happening with their cultural background or social or at home, I think does affect the way that they grow up, and in terms
Oh,
of mental health
definitely,
care as well. Yeah.
definitely. So what are some social and cultural impacts someone can go through?
Um, there's a lot, but
There's a
we'll name a
lot.
few. Let's say, for example, social impacts. Say, for example, men are not meant to show any emotions, uh,
Yes.
which is quite intriguing because, men's suicide rates are a lot higher than women's.
From what I last saw, 80% of suicides are men.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's a big difference there.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Like we can share samples from our own lives where our emotions were invalidated either by
Mhm,
other men or even women in our lives
mhm. Yeah.
because we're not allowed to show emotions. I
Yep.
was lucky to be raised by parents who, because they're both got qualifications in psychology, they value emotions a bit more.
Mhm.
But even then, like, I still had to hide a lot of stuff from my parents because, you know, the patriarchy.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
patriarchy is very strong in my family. My dad's the one in charge, and my mum follows what my dad says. Over the years, it's definitely become a more equal relationship as time went on.
Yeah.
But just the way I was raised in a church where the male is in the dominant lead. But because of that, the patriarchy, I'm gonna say it right. Like, it's like, don't show emotion, always be strong, always be stoic. Never let anyone get the better of you in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind
It'll be pretty similar in my cultural background as well. I would say just because, growing up in an Asian household, we don't necessarily convey feelings. It's more of like an intuition that we kind of suspect that someone's feeling upset or down. For example, when I went through my recent breakup, and I think it's like the day after, I decided to let my dad know, because I generally don't talk about things
of,
with him. But I wanted to be slightly vulnerable, just to convey how I'm feeling, and to let them know that I'll be fine. So I said to my dad the next day, "Oh, look, Dad, my partner and I are no longer together. We're taking a break or so. but don't worry about me, I'll be perfectly fine. And my dad was like, oh yeah, nah, I kind of suspected that, because last night we had dinner. We made seafood, which is one of your favorite, and you barely ate anything, which is a little bit unusual. So I kind of suspected that already. And and then my dad did talk to me for a little bit, saying, like, there's plenty of girls that actually really like you. Like, you just gotta get out there. But then the thing is, as well, I don't generally like the girls in my cultural background, just because my cultural community is a little bit small, and things that you do in that community, it kind of stays. Hence why I generally don't really, stick in that cultural community. It's nice every now and then to, get into it and talk to the people of the same cultural background, but I generally don't like to stick. So yeah.
That's something I understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, like it's not just everyone's your cousin kind of thing, but it's also like you already know like what you're gonna get in your cultural background.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm much the same. I don't date in my cultural background either.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know
What
what I
once
mean.
once you're in that cultural background, you just know the ins and outs. Like, just you just know, you know where things are gonna go and stuff.
Yeah.
So you don't really want to stick there. But it's it's all personal preference and stuff as well.
Oh yeah. Like so many social things like gender roles, like feminine and masculine gender roles, like what do you expect it to be like?
Mm.
I think it's great that gender roles are starting to mix. I don't know if you agree, but like a man can show more of a feminine side nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
and a woman can show more of a masculine side. Like there's a lot more women going to gym, and gym used to be like this masculine only area, and there's more guys like trying to show emotions, and not that
Mm-hmm.
emotions is like this feminine trait, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, in terms of social impacts, it's known as more of a feminism trait, but in reality, we're all humans. We,
Yeah.
we all show emotions. Yeah, I agree, to a certain extent, because obviously there are people that you know there are people that always tend to spoil things. For example, you mentioned at the gym, a lot of women are going to the gym. I find that great, that women are taking their physical health seriously. However, there are those ones where they go to the gym for clout, where
Yeah,
they'll
the
just
clutch
show
is.
their ass and stuff. And if a guy or if anyone just suddenly has a quick glance, even if the guy could be bi or gay or so, and if he has a quick glance, he gets cancelled, or the video gets posted on social media, and he kind of gets, it gets bombarded by women for it and whatnot. So it goes a certain way. However, yeah, I do think that feminism and masculinity, mixing these days is pretty good. For example, I think it's good because a man can do so much, and we all have different roles. A man can do things that a woman can't, and a woman can do things that a man can't.
Yeah, like men going into teaching, like it's pretty low right now, the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have a friend who's in nursing, who's a guy.
Yeah.
And nursing usually is a woman-dominated role in our society. So I feel like it's great that people can go into career choices or do things that usually aren't displayed as like the masculine role of a job.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be in construction or factory or anything like that nowadays. And I think
Yeah.
that's really improving mental health because we can do what we want to do. Like, men can be artists or cooks. Well, there's a lot of male cooks, but
Oh
you,
yeah.
you know my point.
Gordon Ramsay.
Can you name any others? Jamie Oliver.
Oh yes, Jamie Oliver. Oh my god. I used to watch him all the time after school.
Yeah.
Before the ABC Kids came on.
Oh yes. That was a
Yeah.
while ago. Oh my.
There's a lot of examples in that regards as well. Like say for example, if you're a female, would you want to go and work on an oil rig,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Because men, like, yeah, sure, you're really isolated at an oil rig, and it's quite a physically taxing role to be working at an oil rig as well. So as a female, do you really want to work there? Because I would say as a man, it's preferred to be, that
I
male
mean, I
of that
wouldn't want to,
specific role.
but
Personally, yeah, me neither. I wouldn't want to either. But in most cases, it would be a man that would be working that role,
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Yeah, like what we can determine is that the way you were raised and the society you grew up in can affect a lot. Like, what's some Australian societal standards that have impacted you?
Um,
Probably
not.
drinking culture for me.
Yeah, I'd say drinking culture.
That's
Um,
affected my mental health. How easy it is to get alcohol. There's like an alcohol shop, like within a kilometer in everywhere in Australia.
yeah, basically, there's also many bars,
So
and a
many
lot of the
bars.
pokey places, or just scattered around,
Okay.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's affected a lot of people in terms of drinking. There's a lot of other things as well. Let's see.
Like, for me, like, one thing I don't like about Australia is probably how casually racist we are.
Yeah,
Stephen would know.
yeah. We are quite casual in that regards. However, it's different when you're joking about it, and it's different when there's people that are actually racists, like they genuinely hate someone, just because of their cultural background, and there's people like that just joke around. I would say that has to do a lot with like social media as well. Social media, a lot of people say, for example, on Instagram, joke around, saying the N word and stuff. They joke
Yeah.
around on there. However, there are people that are genuinely racists and whatnot. So,
Yeah.
but in Australia, I would say we do, we do say a lot of racial slurs and stuff out loud, to each other. I think it's mainly just with mates, because Australia is quite multicultural.
Yeah.
And for example, you could have like an Asian that's like what they say whitewashed, an Asian that could be really white, and he could be saying a lot of racial things, um, to his own cultural background and stuff as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's many things. I would say, for example, I would say and joke around all the time that I eat dog and whatnot. But in all reality, I don't. I'd rather eat my beef.
Yeah. I think it's fine if you like joke about your own culture to
Oh
a
yeah,
extent.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
don't worry, me and my cousins are always coming up with jokes about being Jewish and all that.
Yeah. I think it's fine when you make jokes about your own social cultural background. Um, but you do have to stay within boundaries if you're making that joke with friends and whatnot. Like you have to know them for quite a while and know that they can take jokes for you to actually do that and stuff as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, you gotta know each other's boundaries.
Ooh. I'm trying to think of more social impacts. Like,
Um,
there's like just so many, but there's just so many that they're just not coming to the top of my head.
Yeah, there's a lot, but I think the
Um,
main ones would just be like gender roles, gender, um, yeah, gender roles and racial stereotypes. I think they're
yeah.
the really big ones, especially when we've had a history of it as
Oh,
well.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the real question: can someone overcome the way they were raised?
Ooh, that is a hard question, but I would say personally, I believe that yes, you can, because once you've gained enough confidence in yourself, you'll be able to move apart from the social or cultural impact.
Yeah,
Say, for example, if you were raised in an Asian household and the expectation is for you to have a high status in, academically or in sports, but you can move out of that because there's a lot of people that are actually successful, that are not, academically inclined. So there's many ways. However, I do believe that it does stick quite a while. It does stick for quite a while where you have to be that specific stereotype in your cultural or social standards there. So it does impact you a lot. However, you can overcome it.
yeah, I agree. Like the way I was raised socially and culturally, it took a long time to overcome all that. Like I had to go through therapy. I had to see people, but eventually you do recover. Like nothing lasts forever. Like the impact it has on your mental health can be draining, but you can overcome anything if you really put your mind to it and really try. Like I overcame my religious dogma I went through growing up. I
Mhm.
overcame the societal things I had to go through living in the ghetto areas of Australia.
Yeah, that
Like,
makes the both of us.
I'm not drinking every day, I'm not doing drugs, I'm not
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
crime.
that's
And
it. That's it.
it's like nature versus nurture. Like, your nature can be different to the way you were raised. Like, just because I was raised in this ghetto ass place, that doesn't mean like I'm gonna be doing the crime and the drugs and the alcohol and all the other
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
Even though that was the
exactly.
way what I was raised around me, I think my family did help having the moral standards and the values
Yeah,
around me.
yeah, yeah.
But I
I
was
think that's
still,
that's one of the good things. One of
yeah,
the big things as well.
yeah. If you surround yourself with good people, you can overcome like any trauma you went through. You can overcome just a lot of things. So, everyone, I want you to find good friends, reconnect with your family, and learn to love again. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
speaking out my ass, but you know you know exactly
Uh,
what I'm talking about.
yeah, I think just enjoy the little things, enjoy it while you can and whatnot. And for our younger audiences as well, say for example, if you guys are under 18, or from America under 21, um, try to stay with a group of friends that are not, you could be from the hood like us, but try to stay with friends and have a social standard where you're not doing crime and whatnot. Because, for example, where we live at the moment, where Nova and I live, we do have younger kids, in their teenage years. Because they're minors, they believe that they can get away with anything,
Oh yeah,
and there's a lot of theft and whatnot. They're stealing cars and getting into accidents and stuff. Actually costing people's lives and affecting others. um yeah, try your best to stick with like within a group that's more well behaved. Try to have that sort of social standard, because it does stick with you for quite a while as well. You don't want to be turning 18 and still be stealing cars and whatnot.
Yeah.
So something to look forward to in life, guys.
Yeah, overall, guys, like, I know how you were raised can really affect your mental health. Like, me and Stephen have been through it, but that doesn't mean it's like the end of it all. You can still, you can still be the person you want to be, even though you were raised to be someone different. Like, your parents could be like really strict. They could make you want to, give up. Or the society around you is like falling apart, but don't give up, guys. It'll be okay.
Yeah, just remember, guys, life doesn't really start until you start moving.
Yes, Stephen.
Yeah, because you think that, oh, let's say I've just graduated high school. What do I want to do? You don't know what you want to do. Find something you're interested in. You don't necessarily have to go to uni, or so. You can even start uni at a later life. You see, because when I was in uni, I saw a lot of older people that they started, getting their master's degree or getting their degree at a later life. Say, for example, when they're maybe 35, 40, or even older, because after high school, they could have a family to support and they might start working. And when they've settled down, say, for example, paid off their mortgage and so, and they want to do something again or something they're interested in, they go back to studying. Hence why, if you guys, you younger kids out there, you guys do go to uni and see older people, I would say to be respectful to them, because just as you guys are, they're still, they're still beginning their life's journey as well.
Yeah, respect your elders. Unless they
Yeah,
don't respect you. Let's
yeah,
screw them.
it's
Screw
true
the
though.
boomers.
Yeah, you guys, you do have to have mutual respect as well.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, everyone. It was great talking, but we're gonna wrap it up.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
tuning in, everyone.
Thank you for watching, everyone. Our next episode is relationships, family, partners, and friends. That should be an interesting episode.
Oh yeah, I think it'd be interesting.
We
to
did
talk.
cover it a little bit in this episode, but we're gonna go into a deep dive into relationships in the next episode.
Yeah. And again, everyone, if you guys just want to have a discussion with us about anything, feel free to reach out to us, or even just leave comments below.
Yeah, if there's a topic you'd like to hear on, we're open to talk about it. If you tell us you want us to talk about it.
Yep. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.